Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to VNN News. Today we're with Dr. Alana Golmei. Dr. Golmei is an Indian humanitarian, activist, and a lawyer. She holds a PhD in political science and has completed a Post Doctoral program at JNU under Northeast India Studies. She's the founder of Pann Nu Foundation and a founding member of Burma Center Delhi. She started Northeast Support Center and Helpline in 2007 and is also a member of the Bezbaruah Committee, formed in 2014 to suggest measures to deal with racial discrimination targeted at Northeastern Indians. I'm very thankful for the opportunity you've given to me, ma'am, for being able to interview you and about your work and your experience to your profession as a lawyer.
Thank you, Jackie.
Let's start with the questions.
Okay.
Growing up in Tamenglong, Manipur, what is a cherished memory or a tradition from your Naga roots that still shapes who you are today?
Well, childhood memories is always really beautiful. Of course, for us, your generation and my generation is not the same. So we indulge ourselves, we always play in the forest. So the sweetest memory that I could recollect is during our break time in school. Like, we used to go out and then we used to go and pick those wild berries, and sometimes even teacher will not give us a chocolate. Okay, so they will just give us those fruits, wild berries and all. Also that we enjoyed the most. And at the same time, that time was like that love, care, all these are very much there. But now, which you will not see that much, right? Because we indulge so much in all this technology world. So that is why those things are not there. But I think the honesty, the nature, that very sweet life that you live, that is so natural. There is no any kind of intervention, right, from this outside world.
Yes,
but then you are yourself. Okay, you are yourself. You're so honest, you're so good to people. You do not have any disturbances, so but life is like so natural. So it is really good. So I think that is something that I continue to carry till today. Okay, so that is how, until today I am still in touch with my childhood friend, the friend that I played together during the school time, and also my teacher who has actually groomed me to become a person today.
And if you could sit down with your younger self, what advice would you give her about her journey ahead as a lawyer and as an activist?
Well, of course, your childhood does not actually make you a person today. Meaning you are completely a different person when you are growing up. So I was very shy, okay, when I was young. So I think I should not be too shy. I could have been a little, outspoken. I can be a little more brave, more courageous that time. But of course today I've changed completely. It's a drastic change for me. As a young girl in a small town, I grew up, and then I am actually not really an extrovert. I was an introvert that time, but then I have completely changed. So I could have been a little, better. Meaning, if I were a little outspoken, if I were a little brave, I feel that way. If I could more courageous, then maybe it would not have taken so much of an effort for me to become, someone to speak for someone who cannot speak for themselves today. But of course, it is not so bad, but I could have done much better.
Yes, And what made you choose law as a tool for change, especially after your PhD in political science? Was there a specific moment or that pushed you forward in that path?
Very much. See, after more than 10 years of my PhD and my postdoctoral, I've gone back to study law. In my life of activism, it is almost 2 decades now. So I have encountered so many people, who cannot even go to fight for justice because at the end of the day they do not have a support system. Especially it is the people from the Northeast, and you live in cities where you are away from home. The place is so alien to you, so they were very helpless. So then I have to run from pillar to post because I am not a lawyer. I was not a lawyer that time. So I would just look for lawyers who can help them pro bono, that is free, legal aid services to the people, to the downtrodden, and also to the marginalized community, especially women who face this. And it is also a stigma for those young women to come out and say that, I've been assaulted, especially when it comes to sexual assault. and also number of cases where you are sexual harassment at the workplace. So all these cases are very sensitive. Then in order to do that, if I have to hire a lawyer, if I have to go give them reference to some lawyers, then they cannot open up, because it is so difficult for them to tell to the person whom they are not comfortable with. So I feel that in my journey of working with these people, they feel very comfortable with me. There's so much of an emotional attachment, between me and them. So that's how I realized that, okay, why not I also go back and study law, so that I can be more helpful to them, so that I can do more work. So actually that is how that motivates me actually to go back and study law after many years of a study break. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And you faced and fought against racial discrimination as a Northeasterner in cities like Delhi. Can you share a personal experience that hit you hard, and did that experience inspire your work with NESCH?
Well, as a young woman, I landed here in Delhi, and so it may be the year that you were born. Then yes, it was so difficult for me. I do face a lot of racial slurs and a little bit of all those things I encounter, but it was so difficult for me to fight back. But then of course not so much of that situation that many others from the Northeast are facing. So that was my personal experience. But I was young that time when I was facing it, but then I have many friends who are much older to me, and then when they started coming and telling me, come, let's go out, and then we will talk to our young people. So that's how I started following them. And then sometimes it was a spot intervention. We go to the police station, we go actually to their house, and then that's how when we started talking, then I realized that okay, there's so much to be done. So that was actually the time that I begin to realize that okay, so much needs to be done. We don't have to wait for people, or we don't have to wait for the authorities to come and help these people, but we ourselves can do something about it. So that was actually the slowly as I starting to get matured and starting to understand the situations, the problems that is being faced by our youth, our Northeast youth. So that was one thing. But along this journey, there were also many instances that I have personally encountered. And one of the incidents is actually a young woman who actually could have been successful today had she been alive. So that really emotionally, mentally, everything actually, it has actually touched me because she is just a 21-year-old woman, and then coming to build her dreams, in a city like Delhi. But then she did face a lot of situations, meaning after she died, I just came to know about her life and how much she struggled. So that case is still ongoing even till today. And then because you are being somebody, for example, when you talk about racial discrimination, I always say whenever I'm going, interacting with people, that one thing is that they stereotype, especially women from the Northeast, because we have a good, polite nature of smiling, right? We have this, we are so good in hospitality, like that. So we're very kind and polite, and when we smile, the smile that we smile at them, it's not taken in the right way. Right? It looks like you're inviting, it looks like you're provoking the person. So I think in that situation, the woman also was stalked by somebody, and then that's how we do not know who killed her, but it was of course a murder case, and we came to know that she has been stalked by so and so, in that process before she was killed. So that actually case really, has given me so much energy and the courage actually to continue to fight for people who are facing the same thing. Of course, there's so many other cases, but as a woman myself and a young woman facing that situation and being killed. So yeah.
Ma'am, you're part of the Bezbaruah Committee addressing racial discrimination. What is one change that you've seen in the social or legal landscape for Northeasterners since then, and what still needs work?
Well, there are some major recommendations in the Bezbaruah Committee report. So one of them is setting up of a multicultural center in Dwarka, so that whenever our Northeast people face situations and problems, then they can go there. So one is actually to have a room, a place where they can just temporarily stay there, and then after that, later on, when they get the opportunity to go back to their own accommodation, then they can go. Another one is to have a community center, so that some kind of awareness programs, cultural programs, so some interactions can happen in that center. So that is actually still in the pipeline. It is already in the process. Then the other one is the setting up of the hostel in JNU. That is already completed, and then I'm sure seats will be allocated to the Northeast students, because the reason is also that they face so much problems in their rented accommodation, right? For their food habits, for rent issue, and then their security deposits are not being returned. So students, they face a lot of challenges, and it is so difficult for them, and also they don't have much money to go and rent a place which is close by to the universities and colleges. So that is actually one aspect that is for the students. Then for the community who are residing in different pockets, in Delhi, there are some awareness programs, interaction between the police and also some of the welfare association and also the Northeast community. So that awareness program is also being done, but not in a large scale. So they can still do more. Then the other thing on the legal aspect is actually nothing much though. But one is empanelment of lawyers from the Northeast. So some Northeast lawyers have been empaneled, and then they intervene in some cases, especially when it comes to heinous crimes, against the Northeast people, that is women and children. So that is what one factor. The other one is the major one, that is amendment of IPC. Okay, so when you're called Chinky, Chowmin, right, Momo, so some kind of racial slurs, then the perpetrators, should be punished, or some deterrent has to be set, right? But then there are no such exemplary actions, okay, whenever such situations, whenever such crimes happen. So amendment of IPC is a must, but until today that is not yet happening. So we are still hoping and waiting. Still we continue to advocate. So that is actually some of the major recommendations in Bezbaruah Committee. So I'm sure still it is in the process, but yes, implementation is very slow. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And your Pann Nu Foundation focuses on women's rights and leadership. Can you share a success story from the foundation that makes you proud?
Well, the reason behind setting up this Pandu Foundation is very special. It is very close to my heart because the word Pannu itself is actually a name. So this is Pannu is in Burmese, and the meaning is pink flower. So Pannu is actually a name given to me by a Burmese friend. So I have a Burmese name that is Pannu. So the foundation is named after me, and the main reason is that when I started working with people, from different sector communities, then especially when it comes to the Burmese women, the refugee women who came, from Burma, they are very helpless because they do not have the support system, and they are asylum seekers, they are refugees. Where do they go? Where do they turn to? So in that process, I have managed to bring in the women from the Northeast India, the women from other parts of the country, and also the Burmese women, including the Tibetan women, so that they can come and share, experiences. And also they can come, and whether good, whether bad, sadness, happiness, so that they can come in one platform and then know each other, so that they empower each other.
Yes.
Okay, they support each other, because there is no such thing, the immediate solution to all these things. But then all these women, they can come together and they can support each other. I think it's not about achieving in a big way, but then supporting each other, learning how to come together in one platform and sharing all these experiences makes them happy, and then it really gives them hope in a sense that I am not alone, you are not alone, but then we are here for each other. So I think that is the most successful thing that I could share about Pandu Foundation. Yeah.
Awesome. And you've worked with Burmese refugees, as you mentioned, and Northeastern communities alike. And how do all of these experiences shape your view of humanitarian work? And is there any lessons you've learned from both these groups?
Yeah, of course, very much. I was a young woman then when all these things started. So I used to say that my right hand is the Burmese issue, and on my left is for the Northeast. So these two are equally so close to my heart. So then I started talking to Burmese women. I was doing a small pilot study and also short report we came out, okay? And then so that is under the Pandu Foundation that we have done that small study. So I spoke to them, and I met many of them, and then they broke down, and then they cried, a lot. of the experiences that they have, faced in their country. And also, even after coming to Delhi, they still continue to face that problem because they are so new to the place. They don't have the citizenship rights, right? They do not get access to many provisions that is being available, of course, to many of us. So that's how actually I listened to them, and I listened to their cries. I can see the tears that is rolling down from their faces and all like that. So that has actually touched me, okay? But at the same time, it has also made me more bold, more courageous, that why not? If they cannot come out and speak for themselves, then I must do something for them. So that is one. Then, of course, on the other hand, the Northeast community. And I myself was a young woman that time. But still, I have listening to them. Then we went to colleges, okay, and then public places. So then we went to even cyber cafe, wherever the Northeast people are there. So we talk to them, and then we listen to their stories. So actually, that was actually the turning point in my life. And then, of course, I never looked back. And I think it has really special, special to me, because, of course, I understand that was the sad story, that was the challenges that they face. But through that, I have learned so much, not because of their successful story. And I said that it is not the top people in the world that has molded me or influenced me in my life to become a person that I am today, but it was the victims, it was the survivors, it was the people who suffered, okay, that has molded my life today.
Thank you. And you've collaborated with Manipur Tribal Forum Delhi, MFTD, during this ongoing ethnic conflict in Manipur. How do you see it as a voice for contributing to the peace building and reconciliation between the different communities that are present in Manipur?
It is really, really unfortunate. For me, 2023 was the worst years of my entire life. Because all of us, of course, I have never seen, such situations in our home state. On the 3rd of May, when the incident happened, 11 o'clock, I received a call from someone and say that, look, the situation is like this. So as someone who is also a lawyer, who is also an activist, how can you help? What can you do on this? So that was the night that has awoken me, shook me. And that's how I could not really sleep. But I, of course, immediately called up a senior advocate and said that something happened. Something really bad has happened. So what can we do? So that was actually the starting point. Of course, the next day, not only me, but we were a team, and there were many people, other people, who have joined that, so that we could take up the matter together, legally, not against any community, but this is actually to protect human beings, and also to actually protect human rights. And also that's how actually we started that. And yes, it is a collective group from all different communities. Manipur, we're really diverse, right? We have more than 30 tribes and communities. So yes, I do advocate, though may not be so open outside, but quietly, and then talk to a few people who have like-minded people. So we continue to fight and we continue to work. Of course, I know that situation may not come back, to the time that before the problem happens, but still we're hoping that at least if one person can change the world, why not? If we have 10 people, right? If we have 15 people who can come together and still continue to advocate for peace in the state.
Yes.
So this is what we are still hoping for, and still we don't stop, even though in a small way, legally also, socially, and then also community based, we are still doing that.
Yes, ma'am. And as someone known for her deep justice and commitment to deep justice, does your faith play a role in guiding your activism and legal work?
Very much. Who is above the law? It is God. It is only divine.
Yes.
Even if I go to the court, the first thing that I will only think of, or I will pray in my heart, is that, Lord, you are above the law. Otherwise, the legal process is very long. It is very tedious. Sometimes when the people that we're fighting for, that we're speaking for their rights, have no faith anymore in a justice delivery system, then where do we go? The only thing that we can tell them is that you pray about it and God is there, right? So that is the only thing that I encourage myself. I also encourage my clients And I also encourage the people, who are still fighting for justice. So yes, God is all that I have.
Yes, ma'am. And what is one legacy you'd like to leave behind?
Well, just one. It's just to be honest, and also to know your calling. Everyone has a calling, and so we have to know that. We have to identify that. That's all I can give. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining me on VNN News today. We're very thankful for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.